Imagine a man so feared that his name alone sent shivers down the spines of an entire nation. A ruler whose rage could burn cities to the ground, whose paranoia turned friends into enemies, and whose legacy is stained with blood and mystery. That man was Ivan the Terrible, Russia's first Tsar, a figure who looms large in history like a dark, brooding shadow. But what if I told you his death was even more twisted than his life? What if the end of this brutal tyrant wasn't just a quiet fade into history, but a chilling puzzle that still haunts us today? In the next half hour, you're going to uncover the shocking truth about Ivan's final days, truths that will make you question everything you thought you knew about power, madness, and mortality. Stick with me, because this is a story you won't believe until you hear it. Let's step back to 16th century Russia, a land of endless winters and iron-fisted rule. Moscow's Kremlin, with its golden domes piercing the gray sky, was the heart of Ivan's empire. He wasn't born the Terrible. That name came later, earned through decades of ruthless ambition. As a child, Ivan was an orphan, crowned at 3, surrounded by scheming nobles who treated him like a pawn. Picture a boy barely able to read, watching his mother poisoned, his guardians murdered, his world collapsing before he could understand it. That trauma forged a man who trusted no one, who saw betrayal in every glance. By his 20s, Ivan was a force of nature, tall, broad-shouldered, with piercing eyes that seemed to see through your soul. He declared himself Tsar, God's chosen ruler, and set out to build an empire that would rival Rome. But power came at a cost. Ivan's reign was a roller coaster of brilliance and brutality. He reformed laws, expanded Russia's borders, and brought the printing press to his people. Yet his paranoia grew like a cancer. He created the Oprichnina, a secret police force dressed in black, riding through villages like grim reapers, executing anyone Ivan suspected of disloyalty. Thousands died, nobles, peasants, even priests. In a fit of rage, he struck his own son, Ivan Ivanovich, with a staff, killing him and leaving the throne without a clear heir. This was a man who could weep for his sins one moment and order a massacre the next. His life was a contradiction, a tightrope walk between genius and madness. Now let's fast forward to 1584, the final year of Ivan's life. He was 53, but he looked decades older. His body was failing, swollen joints, thinning hair, a face etched with pain. Some said it was poison, others whispered of divine punishment. Ivan himself believed he was cursed. He'd spent years consulting. Astrologers, fearing the stars, foretold his doom. One prophecy from a Finnish sorcerer haunted him. He would die on March 18, 1584. Imagine the weight of that date, ticking closer like a countdown to oblivion. Ivan laughed it off in public, but in private he was unraveling. He wrote letters begging monasteries to pray for his soul, as if he could outrun his sins. Picture the Kremlin in those final months. The air is thick with incense, the halls echoing, with chants of monks. Ivan, once a towering figure, now shuffles through his chambers, clutching a rosary, his hands trembling. His court is a nest of vipers, nobles plotting, advisers whispering, everyone sensing the end of an era. Ivan's paranoia spikes. He accuses his closest allies of treason, banishing some, executing others. Yet he's also strangely reflective. He orders a census of his victims, a grim ledger of the lives he's taken, as if tallying his sins could save him. This is a man staring into the abyss, knowing it's staring back. March 18, 1584. Dawn's cold and grey. Ivan wakes early, his body racked with pain. He's determined to defy the prophecy. He calls for a chess game, a favorite pastime, perhaps to distract himself from the dread gnawing at his mind. His opponent is Bogdan Belsky, a loyal advisor, or so Ivan thinks. The board is set, ivory pieces gleaming under candlelight. Ivan moves his knight, his hands unsteady. The game is slow, deliberate, each move a battle against fate. Outside, a storm brews, wind howling through the Kremlin's towers. Servants later swear they heard strange noises, moans, footsteps, as if the palace itself was restless. Halfway through the game, Ivan collapses. His breath comes in gasps, his face pales. Servants rush to his side, but he waves them away, muttering about the prophecy. He's carried to his bed where physicians, alchemists, and priests gather like vultures. They administer herbs, chant prayers, but Ivan's condition worsens. His eyes, once so fierce, are wild with fear. He whispers something about mercury, a substance he'd used for years to treat his ailments. Mercury poisoning was common among rulers. Its symptoms, tremors, paranoia, organ failure, eerily matching Ivan's decline. Was this the curse he feared, or something more sinister? Let's pause here to consider the theories. Some historians believe Ivan died of natural causes, his body simply giving out after years of stress and illness. His autopsies, yes, there were multiple, revealed high levels of mercury in his bones, but was it medicinal or malicious? Others argue he was poisoned by his enemies. The Kremlin was a hotbed of intrigue, and Ivan had no shortage of foes. Bogdan Belsky, his chess partner, was ambitious with ties to rival factions. Could he have slipped something into Ivan's drink? Or perhaps Boris Godunov, Ivan's cunning advisor, saw an opportunity to seize power. Godunov would later become Tsar, his rise suspiciously convenient. There's another theory, darker still. Some whisper Ivan's death was self-inflicted, not by suicide, but by his own reckless pursuit of immortality. Ivan was obsessed with alchemy, funding experiments to create elixirs of life. Mercury, arsenic, and other toxins were common in these concoctions. Did Ivan, in his desperation to cheat death, poison himself? The irony would be poetic, a tyrant undone by his own hubris. Whatever the truth, the official record states Ivan died at 3 p.m. on March 18, 1584, just as the prophecy foretold. His final words, according to one chronicler, were, "I am lost." But the story doesn't end there. Ivan's death unleashed chaos. His empire, built on fear, began to fracture. His heir, Feodor, was weak, nicknamed the bell ringer for his obsession with church bells. Without Ivan's iron grip, Russia slid into the time of troubles, a decades-long crisis of famine, rebellion, and invasion. Ivan's legacy became a ghost, haunting the nation he'd shaped. His body, laid in state, was said to emit a foul odor, as if his sins clung to his corpse. Superstitious nobles claimed his spirit lingered in the Kremlin, his screams echoing through its halls. Let's dive into why this matters to us today. Ivan's death isn't just a historical footnote. It's a mirror reflecting the dangers of unchecked power. He was a man who could have been great, a reformer, a visionary, but his paranoia and cruelty consumed him. His final days, filled with fear and regret, show us what happens when a leader loses touch with humanity. For Americans, this resonates in a world where power struggles dominate headlines. Ivan's story reminds us that no one, not even a czar, is immune to their own flaws. Now let's explore the cultural impact. Ivan's life inspired art, literature, and film. Sergei Eisenstein's 1944 movie Ivan the Terrible portrays him as a tragic hero, his death a culmination of inner torment. Russian folklore paints him as a bogeyman, a cautionary tale for children. Even in the West, his name evokes a larger-than-life villain like a real-life Darth Vader. But unlike fictional tyrants, Ivan was human, his contradictions all too real. His death, shrouded in mystery, invites us to question the narratives we're told. Was he a monster, a victim, or both? Let's circle back to that chess game, the final act of Ivan's life. Picture it. The Tsar, hunched over the board, his mind racing. Each move is a defiance of fate, a refusal to surrender. The pieces, kings, queens, pawns, mirror his world, a game of strategy and betrayal. As he collapses, the board is left unfinished, a metaphor for his reign. Ivan's death wasn't just the end of a man, it was the end of an era. A moment when Russia stood at a crossroads. The storm outside, the whispers in the halls, the prophecy fulfilled. It all feels like something out of Shakespeare, a tragedy too wild to be true. So, what can we take from this? Ivan's story teaches us about the fragility of power. He built an empire, but it crumbled without him. He sought immortality, but found only mortality. His death, whether by poison, illness, or curse, forces us to confront our own fears. What would you do if you knew your final day? Would you fight like Ivan, clinging to control, or would you make peace with the inevitable? These are questions that linger long after the chess pieces are put away. Before we wrap up, let's talk about why this story matters to you, the viewer. History isn't just about dates and names. It's about understanding who we are. Ivan's life and death show us the best and worst of humanity: ambition, fear, redemption, ruin. By learning about him, we learn about ourselves. And in a world that often feels chaotic, stories like this give us perspective. They remind us that even the mightiest can fall, and that every choice we make shapes our legacy. Now here's where you come in. If Ivan's story struck a chord, let me know in the comments. What shocked you most? His paranoia, his death, or the chaos that followed? Share your thoughts, because I read every single one. And if you want to dive deeper into history's darkest corners, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We've got more stories like this coming, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. For those who can't get enough, check out our playlist on infamous rulers. It's linked below. And if you're feeling inspired, share this video with a friend. Let's spread the word and keep history alive. One last thing. Ivan's death left a mystery that's never been solved. Was it murder, madness, or something else? I want to hear your theory. Drop it in the comments and let's start a debate. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, and if you're curious about another shocking historical end, check out our video on William Wallace's execution shocked a nation next. It's just as wild.